Mm. Ooh. Hello, all. Oh, we're all on. Let's get rid of this. How are you? All right. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. I actually came with a show in mind. Kamala Harris was on The View again after the last time they accused her of being on The View. We know how that went. There was a COVID scare. 9 people had to, well, not nine, but how many hosts did they have? 7 or whatever. Uh, 3 of them had to leave the show or something crazy like that. I think it's like four, maybe 5. But like I think two or three of them had to leave the show, and then it looked like it may have not been actually as accurate as people said. So, yep. But recently, like yesterday, I want to say, she was on The View, or maybe it was today, and they asked her about this. What do they call it? This school curriculum that teaches about, I guess, the history of Black people in America, and people don't want it. And she said something to the effect of white kids shouldn't be made to feel bad, right? It was like, but it's history. So this is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris appearance on The View up in sunny. Ha! Kamala Harris reportedly pissed about The View. The View fiasco even more of a mess. Why does this say September 23rd, 2021? What is the date? Today is the 23rd, the 21st. What am I looking at? Oh, that's good Lord. That's the last month. I'm in the wrong month. Um. Oh man, this is gonna be. Well, we don't want to play that. We want to read the article. CNN. Do we want to read CNN? We want to read the article. Because at the end of it, it's just the office of the Vice President Kamala Harris is vexed with The View after the false COVID-19 positive test review just before Harrison was appearing on the show last week sent the program in the cast. People familiar with the Matador scene on Tuesday. Hold on, where is this? September. This is last month. All right. Where is this? Kamala Harris. Because I want the not. I guess Kamala Harris on. What do you call? What do they call it? What's up, Condoleezza Rice? Was it Condoleezza Rice? I thought it was Kamala Harris. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Maybe it was Condoleezza Rice. Do we want to look at Condoleezza Rice? Ooh, I guess you're right. Hi. Sunny is just as smart. Condoleezza Rice brazenly condescending. Condoleezza Rice interviewed that lawmakers should move on from January 6th. And tells dads of twins Pete Buttigieg what? To get them ready for Stanford. Oh yeah, these people. Was it Condoleezza Rice? It was Condoleezza Rice. You're absolutely right. Denounces a critical race area. I don't have to make white kids feel bad about being what. Yeah, here's the thing about this though. You teach history, right? And someone made a good point on the show that I was listening to while I heard about this driving. I heard it this morning. I was like, that can't be true. It's no wonder I thought it was Kamala Harris. I apologize. Um, Thank you, William, for the fix, for keeping it, for fixing it before I had to make a correction tomorrow. The idea that the Germans don't teach their German history is ridiculous, right? The whole world would think that was ridiculous. What would they teach about their history, right? But here you have someone who who's willing to I don't even know what the word is. I mean, it's you have to teach history. And for people like her, well placed to say this shit, to give it credence that Condoleezza Rice and Sue, we don't need to make 7-year-olds feel bad about their race. Who does that, you imbecile? All right, so are we gonna? Yeah, I guess we're gonna read this. Let's read this. I tell you, they're always trying to pimp you for emotional content, right? So now they want you to feel like, man, like you're being a bully to little white kids because you want the full history of what's going on to be known here. So they send her out. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice appeared on Wednesday's episode of The View, where one thing came up was teaching critical race theory in schools. I'm not certain 7-year-olds need to learn it, she said. The way we're talking about race is that it's either seems so big that somehow white people now have to feel guilty for everything that's happened in the past, Rice said. I don't think that's very productive. Or black people feel disempowered by race. So what line are you fucking here? I think we're still here. All right, let's do this. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, we've been having issues with my internet carrier. The last we've been having issues, streaming issues the last 3 days. But yesterday and today they've been super noticeable. My internet all yesterday was out. Um well, it wasn't all out all day. I mean, I had a show yesterday, but it was out from like 1:30 to like 6:15, literally 6:15. Um I don't think it's very productive or black people feel disempowered by race. What do you mean disempowered by race? I would like black kids to be completely empowered to know they are beautiful in their blackness. Again, more empty. What does that mean? What does that mean? They're beautiful in their blackness. People want shit, not slogans. And this is what these rich black folk are about. They're there because they were willing to be. They were willing to be incredibly complimentary to an unfair system. I would argue, right? If I mean, I'm pretty sure there was somebody coming up with Kamala Harris who was like, "I don't like those jokes in the workplace," and they were gone. But Kamala Harris was like, "Everything seems fine," and look what it got her. And now, I mean, she's. I heard Obama on TV today talking about Terry McAuliffe, and I had to fucking turn the channel. I had to roll my eyes and turn the channel. It's gotten that bad, and I think the Democrats are going to rue the day that it's gotten this bad because they let it get this bad. Uh, Fix it. One part of the segment of society should not be able to boycott anything taught in school because it makes them look bad. Man, America, the great experiment is coming to a fucking end. It's an amazing thing to watch. It really is. It really is. People don't make any sense. They do stuff that no one in the country agrees with. They say stuff that no one in the country agrees with. All right. Let's see if we can do this again. Get an image up without losing the whole show. Come on, TV. Here we go. I don't think that that's very productive or black people feel disempowered by race. I would like black kids to be completely empowered to know that they are beautiful in their blackness. But in order to do that, I don't have to make white kids feel bad for being white. This has nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with teaching history, right? People weren't happily willing slaves, right? I mean, there were slave uprisings. Stop acting like the slaves were happy, right? Constant uprisings over the 400 years. What are you talking about? So somehow this is a conversation has gone in the wrong direction because you set up this false narrative and then act as if that narrative is what everybody's arguing over. And that's not what it is. In order for black kids who quite, you know what, at this point, why are we even fucking around with this? In order for black kids who, quite frankly, for a long time, they were portrayed the way they were portrayed, the way their history was portrayed, she's black, were as second class citizens. No, it was as no class citizens, you moron. But I don't have to make white children feel bad about being white in order to overcome the fact that black children were treated badly, she said. You know, she's fucking. I grew up in second grade Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't go to movie theaters or to a restaurant with my parents, Rice explained. I went to segregated schools until we moved to Denver. Denver. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that somebody else's problem is not yours. Somebody else's problem is not yours. This is about race. Someone else's son getting murdered is your problem. See, she strikes me as the ones who are like, "Oh, we'll do exactly what you say," right? And those people have always been around and making it hard for everybody else to get to the next level. Look at his foot. All right. I went to St. Susan and until we moved to Denver. Denver. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, and you aren't, and you haven't. But they also told me that somebody else's problems, not yours. Yeah, that sentence bothers me for what the topic is. I mean, someone else's house burning down is not your issue. Agreed, right? But someone's house burning down, setting someone else's burning up, setting someone else's house up becomes your problem. You're going to overcome it. And if you're going to be anything you want to be, and that's the message that I think we ought to be sending our kids, you can't be anything you want to be in an unfair system. And just because you apparently sold your fucking soul does not mean everybody else is going to. People are being taught the true history, Rice said. It goes back to how we teach the history. We teach the good and we teach the bad history. But what we don't do is make 7 and 10-year-olds feel that they're somehow bad people because of the color of their skin. We've been through that and we don't need to do. Look, for you to say shit like this, again, you should have examples. Otherwise, you're just talking out your ass. She's such a scuzzy fucker. She really is. Right? She really is. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, where's my phone? It makes me sad. This is why I stopped following the news because it makes me angry and it makes me sad both at the same time. Um, Biden. Oh, here's the other thing I was looking at that I just thought was ridiculous. Uh, this is the shit that gets me. All right, so here we go. Biden pushes for voting bill. Okay, police reform at the MLK event. See, so look, I'm going to put out all the stuff that I want to talk to you black people about that I'm not going to do fucking anything about in this black environment. The MLK event here in October for some reason. What? Okay, all right. Let's hear him because you're not bringing he. Oh my god! And there was news today that he's not doing any of the shit he said. Right? The infrastructure bill was originally 10 trillion, then it got chopped down to 7. Then it got chopped down to 5. Then it got chopped down to 2. Now they're talking about $1.5 trillion. And the $1.5 trillion, you're not going to get anything from the middle class. You're not getting community college, right? At this point, not only did you con black people who fucking voted for you, and shame on them, you conned all these poor white Democrats who voted for you, who aren't also going to get anything. But you can still keep us at each other's throats, right? The referee, like they're the house, right? The house always gets paid whether you win or lose. They take their cut. This is what this is. Yeah, I really do believe that the wheels are going to come off this bitch. In when I say my lifetime, I mean like the next 10, 15 years. I've been preaching gun violence at each other for at least the past 10 years, and it's been a huge thing after Occupy Wall Street. That's when I was saying it. And at the end of Occupy Wall Street is when I stopped protesting and marching, because Antifa and all these idiots would show up and throw rocks at the cops, which gave the cops and we saw this tactic before. We saw this tactic. The Klan, when Dr. King was marching, would pay black kids to do something about your fucking kids, black people. Black kids, like 15 and 16-year-olds, like $5 to throw rocks at the cops during the protest. So the cops will be like, hey, they're throwing rocks at us. That's how that Pettis Bridge thing happened. And I'm like, when you got older, 20, 30, 40, every year you should feel worse about that. But you get to be anonymous. After, you know what I'm saying? You have to, there has to be a line you don't cross. And I think we're such a broken people that people don't have a fucking limit to what they will do to other people in their own community. And then be dragged toward a judge and the cops who they will all tell you they have issues with. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've got a sage burning in the other room. It's slowly drifting in here. But it's so like just keep my mind's eye that there's something burning in the other room. Give me a second. We're gonna read this. I just want to check. All right. Yeah, okay. This is good. It's not burning. I mean, it is burning, but it's not. It's smoldering, which sage should be doing, but it's not burning. Um, it really is ridiculous. Washington, President Joe Biden said Thursday he shares the frustration of supporters disheartened by recent setbacks on police reform and voting access legislation, and vowed to continue the fight on cap. What? So what? What else you gonna say? I'm gonna give up? No, you have to talk this pablum. I vowed to continue the fight. You were useless from the start. Absolutely useless. Do you have a battle plan? No, you don't. Other than using people, your battle plan is for you alone. It's to use people to get to be senator and then get to be vice president and then get to be president. That's your battle plan. Now that you're there, the people are like, I need X, Y, and Z. And you can't even get enough consensus to turn the lights on in a room. He's so scuzzy. The bad guys keep winning. Can't wait to piss on his monument. Watch it. I'm gonna be arrested for pissing on his fucking monument. Whatever it is, I'm gonna make the trip just to piss on it. He's lucky I'm a good Christian, because otherwise I'd be taking a dump on it. During remarks at the 10th anniversary of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington. I am not for that memorial. I really am. And you know why? And I told these people when they were building it. It's not like you fixed anything. Everything Dr. King did is unfinished or has been done away with. Prove me wrong. Somebody go talk to fucking Freddie Gray and Ahmaud Arbery's family about Dr. King's dream. During the remarks of the 10th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, he called efforts to restrict voting access a sinister combination of voting suppression and electoral subversion. His comments came just after days after Senate Republicans filibustered him. So now he's going to blame the Republicans, and you have to come out in September, or we won't win if you, because those Republicans. No, you're incompetent. Even if it is them, you can't. You're not the hero I need to go against them. If they're the Empire and they have a Darth Vader, you're not Luke Skywalker, right? I don't know what you are, but you're not the thing you're claiming to be. And I'm too smart to keep listening to you go on and on. Let's pop this up a little bit. Go on and on about the promise of tomorrow as long as we keep you in play. Pretty fucking speeches. People are dying. Ahmaud Arbery, 3 shotgun blasts in the fucking street. And then when the cops showed up, they didn't even do anything. He was alive. They rendered zero assistance. Yeah. All right. Joe Biden. One thing I was absolutely right about is not voting for Joe Biden. And I told everybody this. And they were all like, we're Democrats. We vote Democrat. Da, da, da. So yeah, you keep voting for people who don't do shit for you. And then stop crying about it. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't vote for incompetent people and then feel sad about for yourself that you don't get anything. Get out of here with that. During the remarks, ooh, it is warm up in this piece. How is that possible? Let's open this window. I think it's because I'm getting warm. Hold on. Sorry about that. Everybody's all right? I hit the. Yeah, put this back here. Put this over here. That should be about it. Oop, I gave it a little thumping. I apologize. I'm sorry. So sorry. Please accept my apology. That's one of the best just open out apology songs. It's just a girl saying that she's sorry. You rarely hear a song like that from women. It's usually you're an asshole and it's your fault. Reminds me, I was talking to a girl about, this was years ago, a girl about her girlfriend's breakup. And I had to, I'm like, but all the information you're telling me about this breakup is your girlfriend's side of it. And you're invested in it because of your girlfriend, your girlfriend's friend, Brenda Lee. Yeah. And she had the no, but no, of course I believe in she might. But well, I'm like, but what makes you think she's not lying? You've never met any sinister women, right? It's all I think. I'm telling you, man. I think they've hacked the system by getting at the weaknesses of all groups. And I think the majority of women, you can train them with fear. Sorry to say train, but you can train them with fear. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you. They did with the 50 with the blacks, right? Oh, the blacks will live next door. Oh, they're coming for your daughters, right? Oh, you can't walk home at night. Oh, yeah, but I guess we need more cops. We need more. Oh, to let the cops do whatever they want. And then before you know it, you're like, how did we get here? We got here because you didn't give a fuck. You gave sinister people carte blanche to do whatever. And now you have rebellion in your country because you did not give a fuck. And now your kid has to go off to war. One of many, right? I forget her name, but there was a woman protest. We're going to finish this. Under Bush, and her son died in Iraq, and she was heartbroken. And the Republicans demonized her. She was supposed to be a gold star mom, but she was like, was this war legitimate? Did my son have to die there? He was 24, my only son. And I felt bad for her because I knew after the limelight faded of her, unless she ended up in Congress to be, and no. And now, yep, she's one of hundreds of thousands of moms who lost their kid in Iraq. I guess the only saving grace for her is that it happened a long time ago. And not that she got used to it, but she yeah, I guess like the pain, I want to say it hurts a little less every day. Like a grain of sand off that giant beach of pain every day, just a grain of sand. So at this point down the line, right, there was a picture of the young woman who was holding a baby in the Afghanistan blast a month and a half ago, her funeral, and her sister, who's also a Marine. Dude, I'm becoming an old wishy-washy bitch because I'm telling you, man, I welled up so hard. And I was like, how did this Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, so that's amazing. And I'm not even moving a lot of shit around, right? It's just, man. All right. Yeah, it broke my heart. All right, so let's read this. See if we can get. We're at the 26-minute mark, so we're technically 20 minutes or so. So we're at the or so mark of this thing. President Joe Biden, he said some pretty words to black people about one of their heroes while he did jack diddly fucking squat. I'm paraphrasing the whole article, but if you want word for word, let's do it. Washington President Joe Biden said Thursday. Let's take your hat off. Ooh, sweet Jesus. Uh, President Joe Biden said Thursday he shares the frustration of supporters disheartened by recent setbacks on police reform and voting to access legislation, and vowed to continue the fight on Capitol Hill. He's just losing every place. During remarks at the 10th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, he called for efforts to restrict voting access a sinister combination of voter suppression and election subversion. His comments came just a day after Senate Republicans filibustered a major voting bill for the second time this year, preventing it from advancing, which you should not be allowed to fucking do in Kansas. Things should get its day, but they don't. Yeah, I hate to say it, but somebody needs to take control of Washington, D.C. Some of these people really need to be called to account to the people. I know progress does not come fast enough. It never has. Biden said the process of governing is frustrating and sometimes dispiriting, but I also know that what possible is we keep the pressure up. If we never give up, we keep the faith. What is this we shit? Pale face? That's the old joke. Know that? No, you probably don't know that old joke. I'm a lot older than everybody. If we keep the pressure up, all this we shit. He said the country's still struggling with racism, and he said the country isn't racist. He said that 3 months ago. Hold it. When did he say that? This was today. He said this today. Biden, the country isn't racist. Biden says he doesn't think America is racist. April 30th, 2021. So that's 6 months ago. I think I'm going to go back to church. I have to go back to church because I hate to say it, but the happiest I've ever been as a kid was in church. I didn't get the sermons. You know, they made me sit there and they yapped it on and I didn't get it. But after service, there was like the parents and other parents and like the pastor would meet and talk nonsense for like 20 minutes, half an hour. And I lived about 6 blocks from church, so I could find my way home. And we take off our stupid ties and run around in the backyard and up and out. Don't run in this church. It was just the best. There was just like school. There's some people you only see during school. There's some people in my neighborhood because they didn't go to my school. I only saw at church. It was a nice environment. And when there was a whole bunch of other adults that I could talk to when I needed to ask them stuff. I used to talk to this is how I know I always wanted to play music. I used to talk to the organist. But back then we were 10, 12, 13, and everybody in the church was like, my mother was one of the youngest women. And you never know how old your mom is because you're a kid. You go, oh, my mom's just an adult. But I guess my mom was in her 40s, which to me is amazing to think about, right? Her 30s or 40s. I just, like, my dad was, what? Young people. My dad had a cool ass car. Do you still parties and listen to their cool music? That was music of the day for them, right? But now I look at the oldies. You know what the oldies are now? Rapper's Delight, KRS-One, Rakim. They're all the classics now. So, but man, this just makes me like, who can I trust in this world? This guy, the president of the United States, is fucking lying to me. And I know he's lying to me. He's talking to me like I'm an idiot. Like I don't remember what he's done. And he's talking to my people who all applaud him. I feel like I'm sitting here going, dude, the sky is falling, right? And then everybody else is like, no, the guy, it's off. Well, maybe the sky's falling is the bad. So is good Lord. What is, come on. The sky's falling is bad, and so is screaming. But you're trying to alert people, and they don't care. But, like I said, the alternative was just as grim, right? Yeah, and I really think he's going to get his lunch eaten in the coming election. I think, and I thought about this today. I think Terry, the guy running for governor here, is going to lose. I think it's the first bellwether that people are going to go, oh, he was governor before. Biden won Virginia by 10 points, and now he couldn't get elected 10 months later. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win. He's not doing good here. He should be doing better. He's not doing good here. Wow. Man, I used to read these things in the newspaper, the New York Times, on the subway, and just be like, what the? I cannot believe. And then people are looking at me, and I'm like, just kind of like, yeah. Man, those days of the subway, I know progress has not come fast enough. All right, I don't want to hear platitudes from you though. That's what makes me mad. It's not just that you're incompetent. Then you show back up with platitudes in my sacred places, like churches, right? I know you're lying to me, and then it exposes the people who invited you here. I did see some of that yesterday. All right, we're gonna cover that next. Let's just burn through this. Um, voting at, oh, you can't fix police reform. It really is just, you all have to wait while you all slowly die at the hands of random cops until we figure out what we want to do about it. Yeah, I told you, people are beginning to shoot at the cops. They assassinated one a couple of days ago, and it's going to be a tick up, and it's going to be more and more. Then you're going to wonder how you got here. But you'll get on TV and not blame yourselves. You'll just blame people for just naturally being dark and evil. But why would they do that? Because they're dark and evil. Yeah, but okay, but why would they do that? you know? Oh my goodness. All right, so during during the remarks of 10th anniversary, we read this. I know process does not come fast enough. Okay, we've read that. He said the country is still struggling with racism and hate more than 5 decades after King's assassination. He referred to deadly 2017 rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, the January 6th attack on the Capitol. January 6th attack on the Capitol wasn't racist. Why would you include that? And the rise in hate crimes during the coronavirus pandemic. Hate crimes. Against who? He's all over the place. The president also addresses the breakdown in bipartisan negotiations to get a deal on police reform. So he showed up at this thing to talk to all these black people with a bag full of excuses as to why it's not his fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's Congressman's fault. It's the legislation's fault. And then he give you some bullet points to tell you that he knows what's been going on. Right? He mentioned the Virginia riot, the Virginia protests. He mentioned the January 6th. Right? So yeah, okay. The president also addressed a breakdown in bipartisan negotiation. I know the frustration we all feel more than 1 year after the George Floyd's murder and the conviction of his murderers about 6 months ago. Meaningful police reform in George's name. Stop treating George fucking Floyd like he's some martyr for. Look, listen. At this point, we black people don't even get to pick our heroes. He shouldn't have died the way he did. Don't get me wrong, but he was a shifty fucker, right? But he shouldn't have died the way he did it on fucking television, essentially murdered by the cops, essentially, right? But if you want to have somebody who's completely innocent who was murdered by the cops, Elijah McClain comes to mind, right? He's got no downside to this. I thought you were supposed to be political people. A lot of the people who supposedly represent us are put there by the Democratic apparatus. I know the frustration we all feel more than 1 year after George Floyd murder and conviction of his murderers about 6 months ago. Meaningful police reform in Georgia's name has still not passed Congress, Biden said. But he added, you got to keep fighting. The House passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act in March. I don't even know what that is, and I follow politics. I follow politics like horny boys follow titties. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always staring at what comes next. Excuse that reference if you don't like it, ladies in the chat, but you know, it's sort of ridiculous. What exactly is the Justice and Policing Reform Act? Which is not, yeah, but the bill lacked enough Republican support to clear the Senate. So then you didn't do anything. Months of bipartisan discussion eventually collapsed in September. And that's what they do. They know it's not going to pass, but they all get together, they talk about it for months, and they go, oh, we were close. Yeah, no black folks should vote. Give it this midterm, which is every 2 years, and the next midterm, which is 4 years. Watch how fast the Democrats come up with a fucking plan to fix your shit. I think we need a revolution. Or an uprising is a better word. Voting access and police reform are top legislative priorities for the Democrats. I don't think they are. And the ability to get either measure across the finish line has exasperated many who helped Biden win the White House in November of last year. Well, I guess we're in October. So yeah, 11 months ago. But Biden on Thursday proposed no new solutions. This is the important thing about this. No new solutions. Biden on Thursday, which is today, as we record this, the 21st of September, good Lord, the 21st of October, Joe Biden on Thursday proposed no new solutions to getting either bill through Congress, nor did he propose any executive action on the two issues. So he came with empty fucking speeches. He also made the case for passing a bipartisan. Who's you making this case for? You're making this case to pass bipartisan infrastructure to citizenry who don't get to vote on it? So you're going to tell them what you're going to do and then come back 6 months later and tell them why it didn't pass? He also made the case for passing a bipartisan infrastructure bill and the social safety net for spending package being negotiated by the Democrats, who are divided over what should be included in the bill and how to pay for it. Yeah. So now not only do you want them to vote on it, you cut out everything they wanted from 10 to 1.5, and all the stuff that they wanted and wanted you took out. But you're saying, hey, we got to get something done. You're a Democrat. You got to vote for this. No, I voted for you. How about this? Die as president. As from here on out, I'm not voting for. As a Democrat, I'm thinking I'm not voting for anything you fucking want. And your vice president is going to get her head cut off in the next election. Her poll numbers are in the toilet. Good Lord, how are you going to turn this around? I think they're hoping for a death. Well, you can rally sad people, like the Kennedy. Because Kennedy was not passing voter legislation in 1962. He was not. And we went through this before about Democrats and Republicans of the era, right? Democrats hated black people in 1959, 60. And you know who was a Democrat? Kennedy. You know who was a Republican in 1959? Martin Luther King Jr. So before you get all goofy with me, know your history before I have to fucking eat your lunch on these topics, right? So yeah, they both kind of switched alignment. But before that alignment switch, all this good talk about Kennedy that I grew up with was poured into my ear as a little kid until I got old enough to be like, wait, what? Because one thing, like when they were like, there was a realignment. There was all the blacks were Republicans and all the Southern Democrats and all this shit. It was like the Southern Democrats were any different than the Northern Democrats. They were the same party. But this is why This is why Joe Biden didn't want busing, didn't want any black people near his kids, and he's from Delaware. You know what I'm saying? This is why there are Confederate monuments in northern states. Come on, people. Not everybody's asleep. He also made the case for passing a bipartisan infrastructure bill and the social safety net spending packages being negotiated by Democrats who are divided over what should be included in the bill and how to pay for it. This whole right here, this whole thing is that Christie Cinema and Joe Manchin nonsense that you could have passed, but all of a sudden they want all this ridiculous stuff that Republicans would want in the bill. As the economy recovers, we are determined and focused on rebuilding it over the long run. Yeah, I believe that. We want the money. Biden said no one should have to hold their breath and say they crossed a rundown bridge to determine whether it's safe enough or dangerous or a dangerous intersection in their hometown. Every American, every child should be able to turn on a faucet and drink water that's not contaminated by litter or anything else. Yeah, pretty fucking words. You're in a position to do something about it. What are you doing about it? Nothing. It's like reminds me of Obama talking about police reform. You were the head of this bitch. You could have man. Don't get me don't even get me started. All right. Um, let's look up this boat fire. That picture looked ridiculous. Navy boat fire. Yeesh. The Bonhomme Richard. Navy finds major failure started with top officers in the devastating fire. Yeah, first of all, let's get a recap. Okay. USS Bonhomme Richard. That name is wild. Bone means good, home means man, right? Is that French for good man? Bonhomme. The USS Bonfire 2020 took 4 days to put out. A U.S. Navy report has concluded that the major failures within the military command chain allowed a fire to destroy a U.S. warship. Yeah, it's so gutted from internally. They build them. They build them from the other than the hull. They build it from the inside out, like to the hull. Um, yeah, or the crispy gooey center of it is all fucked up. Burned for 4 days in San Diego. What does Bonhomme Richard mean? Good man Richard. I was right. Bonhomme Richard or Bonhomme Richard, meaning good man Richard, in French may refer to the USS Bonhomme Richard. Several ships of United States Lex Maximus de Bonhomme Richard, the French title of Poor Richard's Almanac, for which the ship were named. Oh, so the French called Benjamin Franklin, who went to France and got their help to help us win the Revolutionary War. They call him Good Man, right? Is that what this is? They called him Good Man Richard. Poor Richard's Almanac, because the Poor Richard's Almanac was Ben Franklin's Farmer's Almanac, who which the ships were named a pseudonym of Ben Franklin. I mean, yeah, I guess I knew Poor Richard Almanac was Ben Franklin, but I didn't know that was his nickname, like his rap name. Ben Franklin had a pseudonym, Good Man Richards. I guess if you were a lady killer like he was, I guess you would be called a good man. They should have called him Woman, I'm Exhausted Richards. The Navy accuses a sailor of starting one of its warship fires. This was wow. Wow. Hold on. Open image. Look at this fire. Let me get rid of me out here. Look at this. Sweet Jesus. Look at this. Oh, wow. All right. San Diego, the U.S. Navy they charged somebody. The U.S. Navy charged a sailor Thursday with starting a fire last year that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richards docked off San Diego, marking the maritime branch's worst warship blades outside of combat in recent memory. July 29th. Oh, they charged him July 29th. The amphibious assault ship burned for more than 4 days, left with extensive structural because metal melts and sags and shit due to the heat. Electrical, yeah, and you're never gonna once the electrics are laid down, you have to go and relay them down. They're never going to be right. And mechanical damages. The ship later scrapped. Estimate to replace it ran up to $4 billion. Ooh-wee. The sailor was a member of the crew at the time. Commander Sean Robertson, a U.S. Third Fleet spokesperson, said in a statement, the sailor was charged with aggravated arson and willful hazarding of a vessel. Roberts said no name was released. No other details. This sounds like they needed a scapegoat. No, $4 billion in the shitter. No other details were provided. Really? So somebody's been arrested. We're not going to give you a name. We're not going to give you anything about why we charged them. But trust us, we're your American military. All right. No other details were provided, and it was unclear what evidence was found or what the motive was. Yeah, was he a dummy who was smoking? Was it an accident? Or did he set this shit up like some foreign agent would have wanted him to? Right? I mean, the amphibious assault ships are among the few in the U.S. fleet that can act as a mini aircraft carrier. The Bonhomme Richard has been nearing the end of a 2-year upgrade, estimated to cost $250 million when the fire broke out. So it was going for a refit, not a refit, but like a tune-up. Like look at this. Look how much smoke that is. If the fire was over here and you were standing on the back, you'd be dead from suffocation. That, I mean, yeah, it just churns like coal in a fire pit, right? It's just slowly burning. Wow. About 160 sailors and officers were on board when the flames sent up a huge plume of dark smoke from the 850 foot to, it's 850 feet long, 256-meter vessel, which has been docked at the naval base San Diego while undergoing the upgrade. The fire started in the ship's lower storage, way on the bottom, where it's hard to get down there and get water, right? And then once all the smoke comes down, now you can't see to get down there into the bowels of the. Wow, this sounds like a hard mess of a problem. The fire started in the ship's lower storage area where cardboard boxes, rags, and other maintenance supplies were stored. But winds coming off San Diego Bay whipped up the flames. The flames spread up the elevator shaft and exhaust stacks. So I guess through the vents. It climbed through all the vents throughout the boat, right? In those, because that's, wow, okay. Elevator shaft and exhaust stacks. Then 2 explosions. One heard as far as 13 miles away, 21 kilometers. Wow. Caused it to grow even bigger. Usually fire explosions generally put fires out. uh, the fire sent acrid smoke billowing over San Diego, and officials had recommended people avoid exercising outdoors. Wow. Firefighters attacked the flames inside the ship while firefighting vessels with water cannons directed streams of seawater into the ship, and helicopters made water drops on the carrier. More than 60 sailors and civilians were treated for minor injuries, heat exhaustion, and smoke inhalation. Wow. That is not good. 2 days ago, the Navy finds major failures. Yeah, let's see who you blaming. October 19th. All right. Watching a Navy report has concluded that there were sweeping failures by commanders, crew members, and others that fueled the July 2020 arson fire that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richard, calling the massive 5-day blaze in San Diego preventable and unacceptable. Ooh, it's somebody's ass. Here's the thing about these military: they always find fault. They always, and they. I mean, in my opinion, uh, they'll go, yeah, this lieutenant was bad, this major was bad, this colonel was bad. In civilian world, it's only ever whoever gets the coffee is the person who gets fired. Everyone else hangs around and collects a check. A Navy report has concluded that there were sweeping failures by commanders, crew members, and others that fueled the July 2020 arson fire that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richard, calling the massive 5-day blaze in San Diego preventable and unacceptable. While one sailor has been charged with setting the fire, one dude burnt this all down. It had to be intentional if that's the case. setting the fire. The more than 400-page report obtained by the Associated Press lists 36 officers and sailors whose failings either directly led to the ship's loss or contributed to it. So if someone was smoking and left the fire burning, and it was your job to keep all the windows shut, and you left a giant door open to feed the fire, you didn't set the fire, but you contributed to the fire getting ridiculous because you didn't do your part by keeping all the doors closed or whatever. All right. But how you gonna? Okay. 36 officers. That's 36 people, if my math is right. The findings detail widespread lapses in training, coordination, communication, fire preparedness, equipment maintenance, and overall command and control. That right there is a shot at whoever runs that ship. Although the fire was started by an act of arson, the ship was lost due to an inability to extinguish the fire. The report said, concluding that repeated failures by an inadequate prepared crew delivered an ineffective fire response. This is why you drill. It slammed commanders of the Amphibious Associate for poor oversight and said the main firefighting foam system wasn't used because it hadn't been maintained properly and the crew didn't know how to use it. Wow. Wow. The report is expected to be released Wednesday. U.S. Navy officials on Tuesday said while the crews, excuse me, U.S. Navy officials on Tuesday said that while crews at sea consistently meet high firefighting standards, those skills drop off when ships move into maintenance periods. The Bonhomme Richard was undergoing maintenance at the time of the fire. During the maintenance, there are more people and organizational involved with the ship, including contractors and the repair. But this isn't about the contract; it's about soldiers. Uh, and the repairs often involve equipment and chemicals that present different hazards and challenges. Okay, but do they start the fire? The report describes a ship in disarray with combustible materials scattered and stored improperly. That sounds about right. I'm just from knowing people. People don't always put things back exactly where they're supposed to be. So you shove stuff in here because nothing's gonna happen. We'll fix it later. The captain's at the top of the ship and you're way in the bows. No one's gonna see it. Yeah, I can totally see this. The report described the ship in disarray with combustible materials scattered and stored improperly. It said maintenance reports were falsified. That's going to cost you. And that 87% of the fire stations on board had equipment problems or had not been inspected. 87%. That's that's only 13% of the ship worked right. Wow. That's not good. It's also found that the crew members didn't ring the bell to alert sailors or a fire until 10 minutes after it was discovered. Okay, I don't know about this one. I get trying to put them. Oh my God, that's fire! Now try to put out yourself. I don't know how long I would try and do that before, but this is military, I guess. But I don't know how long I try and do that before I grab the phone. If I walked in, the fire was huge. Speaking of fire, we got to go check that incident. The fire was huge. I would go. I'm getting out of here. Call the fire department. But it's got to be well. I know me. It's got to be a pretty fucking small fire. If there's nothing around here that I can point to say it was on fire. Because then you gotta go get a bucket. You gotta wait for the bucket. You gotta unless you have a fire blanket to throw on it. Yeah, no, I think I would have called somebody immediately. And they waited 10 minutes, likely because they didn't want the admiral to fucking have their heads on a plate. It also found that the crew members didn't ring the bell until after 10 minutes after it was discovered. Those crucial minutes, everything's a crucial minute. When you those crucial minutes, the report said caused delays in crew donning fire gear, assembling a hose team, and responding to the fire. It was 10 minutes, people. It burned for 3 days. You're telling me if they would have worked and got it down in 5 minutes, it wouldn't have burned for 4 days? This sounds a little squiffy. Those crucial minutes, the report said, caused delays in crews donning fire gear, assembling those hoses, and responding to the fire. Sailors also failed to push the button and activate the firefighting foam system, even though it was accessible and could have slowed the fire's progress. Oh, no member of the crew intervened considering this action. No crew interviewed, considered this action, or had specific knowledge as to the location of the button or its function. Yeah, so wow. Wow. Okay. I think this might be somebody's ass higher up than the cook. The report spread blame across a wide range of ranks and responsibilities. From the now retired, yeah, see what happens? Let me get the fuck out of here with my 30-year career before they fucking fire me and I'm working in Walmart. Um, Now retired 3-star admiral who headed Naval Surface Force Pacific Fleet, Vice Admiral Richard Brown, to senior commanders, lower ranking sailors, and civilian program managers. 17 were cited for failures that directly led to the loss of the ship, while 17 others contributed to the loss of the ship. What? 17 were cited for failures that directly led to the loss of the ship. Failures directly. You didn't cut on the firefighting foam. Okay. Uh, while 17 others, another 17, while 17 others contributed to the loss of the ship. Okay. Because you didn't know how to turn on the water for the hoses because you had no training. So that contributed to it. All right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Here we are. All right. All right. Let's see if we can. What is going on? All right. Well, apparently I can't um, move this down again because what if I did this? Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. I think we can. I think yeah. Okay. It fixed itself. All right. Let's see if we can get through this. We may not be able to do the last 15 minutes of the show because tis what it is, and what it is just internet difficulties. I've said this before. I'm really seriously thinking about sliding this whole operation over to my gaming channel because that way I could play. I could talk to you about politics, and then we could like crawl into some nonsense. But it's hard to crawl into nonsense with this sort of nonsense. All right, so let's see who they blamed here. William Lesher, the Vice Chief of Naval Operations, has designated the command of the U.S. Free Games. All right, don't want them. The naval official said the okay. Let's start the. We've been trying to get through this paragraph for like Admiral William Lesher, the Vice Chief of Naval Operations, has designated the commander of U.S. Pacific Fleet to handle any disciplinary actions for military members. The Navy official said the disciplinary process is just beginning. One official said the key challenge in making improvements will be addressing the human factor, including the leadership skill, and ensuring that everyone down to the lowest ranking sailor understands their responsibility and can recognize problems and correct them. Amazing. The official spoke on condition of anonymity. I hate that everybody speaks on condition of anonymity. Stop talking. To discuss the report ahead of a public release. Specifically, the report said failures of Vice Admiral Brown, Rear Admiral Adam Scott. Wait, specifically, the report said failures of Vice Admiral Brown, Rear Admiral Scott Brown. The fleet. Wait, what? This sounds weird. How is this weird? Are there two Browns? Vice Admiral Brown and Rear Admiral Brown. A Vice Admiral and a Rear Admiral are not the same thing. Are there two Admiral Browns? Specifically, the report of said failure of Vice Admiral Brown, Rear Admiral Scott Brown, the Fleet Maintenance Officer for the Pacific Fleet. Oh, so there is two. There's the Rear Admiral, there's the Vice Admiral, then there's a Rear Admiral, a one-star Admiral, versus a two-star. The Vice Admiral is a. I want to say, okay, I got to get my Navy shit right. One-star admirals, admiral rank. One-star admirals are vice admirals are three-star admirals. Right, vice admirals are 3 stars. Rear admirals are 1 star. All right, just one. Let's get a picture up here just for the kids. Yeah, this is good. Ugh. Ugh, I hate when they do that. All right, so let's do this. Here you go. Can we do this one? Perfect. So the Rear Admiral, right? So Rear Admiral, 1 or 2 stars. Vice Admiral is definitely 3 stars. So there's the first Admiral Brown, who retired, is a 3-star admiral, and this other admiral is a 1-star admiral, but they're both named Brown. We don't have any more. We don't have fleet admirals. If you like the Star Trek, this is what you got: ensign, lieutenant, junior grade, lieutenant commander like Data, commander like Riker, captain like Picard, rear admiral, up the chain. It was helpful for me when I was a kid to go, oh, what is an admiral? What is it? It makes you curious, and then you look up stuff that you find out about your own government, which is nice. But no one looks up shit anymore. So we got 2 admirals here: Vice Admiral Brown, Rear Admiral Scott Brown. He's the fleet maintenance officer for the Pacific Fleet. Rear Admiral William Green, the fleet maintenance officer for the U.S. Fleet Forces Command. Rear Admiral Eric Verhaag, commander of the Regional Maintenance Center. We did a lot of 1-star. Rear Admiral Betty Bolivar, commander of the Navy Regional Southwest. Captain Mark Nieswiadomi, Mark Nieswiadomi, commander of Naval Base San Diego, and Captain Tony Rodriguez, commander of the Amphibious Squadron 5, all contributed to the loss of the ship. All of them contributed to the loss of the ship. How? I get him. He's in charge of everything. Under him, the fleet maintenance officer, okay, I get him. He's in charge of the fleet maintenance. You lost a ship. Rear Admiral William Green, the fleet maintenance officer. Okay, I get that. Fleet maintenance, U.S. Forces Command. Rear Admiral Eric Verhaag, command of the Regional Maintenance Center. Maintenance. Okay, I get that. Maintenance. Rear Admiral Betty Bolivar, command of the Navy Region Southwest. It's her region. I don't know what she would have done. Commander of the Naval Base San Diego. It happened at your naval base. Mark needs weeding. Okay. And Captain Tony Rodriguez, commander of the Amphibious Squadron 5. Or I don't know what. I don't know what Captain Tony Rodriguez, Commander 5, did, and Rear Admiral Betty Bolivar, the Navy regional, happening in your region. I don't know, man. But I'm not military, so some of this stuff may seem scratch your head like to me as an average everyday civilian citizen, but the people who I'm maybe listening who have some naval experience may go, oh yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Yeah, so there's that. All right. The report also directly faults the ship's 3 top officers: Captain Gregory Thurman, the commanding officer; Captain Michael Ray, the executive officer; and Command Master Chief Jose Hernandez, for not effectively ensuring the readiness and condition of the ship. It's their ass. I don't know about a lot, but I think if your top 3 people, yeah, I think they've got issues. The execution of his duties created an environment of poor training, maintenance, and operational standards that directly led to the loss of the ship. The report said of Thurman, and it said Ray Hernandez and Captain David Hart, commander of the Southwest Regional Maintenance Center, also failed in their responsibilities, which directly led to the loss of the ship. The report only provides names for senior naval officers. The report only provides names for senior naval officers. Others were described solely by their job or rank. See how look at that. So if this was the civilian world, it would have kept all those important people at the top, their names quiet, and you would have known who all the lowly guys were. And this is the exact opposite. You got to save the American military is worth saving, people. The report only provides names for the senior officers, the admirals and commanders and captains, right? All these other people, the E2s and E3s are, more broadly, the crew was slammed for a pattern of failed drills, minimal crew participation, and absence of basic knowledge on firefighting and inability to coordinate with civilian firefighters. Wow. Wow. We don't want to read the whole thing. Wow. Well, we should read the whole thing. Civilian fire. The loss of Yusuf Von Richard was completely avoidable catastrophe, said U.S. Rep. John Garamendi, Democrat, California. Here come the politicians grandstanding from the district. Chairman of the House Armed Service Readiness Committee. Readiness Committee? He said that he read the report with shock and anger and will look into the matter carefully to determine the full extent of the negligence and complacency that occurred. The ship undergoing a 2-year, $250 million upgrade pier slide in San Diego when the fire broke out. About 150 cells were on board, and nearly 60 were treated for heat. Okay, that's like half. 612. Yeah, that's like 5 more people. It's actually, this is a little more than half. So more than half of the people on board your ship were sent to the hospital. Smoking inhalation and minor injuries. The failure to extinguish or contain the fire led to temperatures exceeding 1,200 degrees. Yeah, because your ship becomes an oven, and now you can't send people down there to fight the fire. Firefighters in some area, Fahrenheit, 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. In some areas, melting sections of the ship into molten metal that flowed into other parts of the ship. What? You had running molten lava flowing. Wow. Due to the damage, the Navy decommissioned the ship in April. In August, seaman apprentice Ryan Mays was charged with aggravated arson and the willful hazarding of a vessel. I guess that's a Navy term for putting the ship in danger. He has denied setting the fire. Navy decommissioned seaman apprentice. What is a seaman apprentice? Is that like a private, or is it like a corporal in the Navy? I just want to see how high up the rank he is. Seaman apprentice is the second lowest enlisted rate in the U.S. Navy. So essentially, he's one above a private. He would be a corporal in the Navy. Again, I'm not military, so, but yeah, I think he would essentially be like one above a private. Ooh, that's not good. Did I close it? Okay, well, I thought I did. One above a private. Let's close this. Wolf having the vessel, he did not say the bond. The blaze began in a lower storage area, which May's duty station had access to. According to a court document, investigators found 3 or 4 fire stations on the ship had evidence of investigators found 3 of 4 fire stations on the ship. 3 or 4 of them had evidence of tampering, including disconnected fire hoses, and highly flammable liquid was found near the ignition site. That don't mean he did it. And it was undergoing maintenance. So shit can be disconnected. This is going to be interesting. Wow. Disconnected fire hoses. All right, we're almost on. Efforts to put out the fire was hampered because the ship's crew and others they didn't know how to put out the fire. We just read that. Couldn't communicate effectively, hadn't exercised getting more well trained and report. The report, written by Vice Admiral Scott Kahn, included a number of recommended changes and improvements that have been endorsed by Lesher. The Navy set up a new fire safety assessment program that conducted random inspections. There's supposed to be random inspections in all jobs, though. Random inspection had taken steps to increase training. As many as 50 of those inspections have already been done, and officials said they are finding good results. I would hope so. The Navy also conducted a historical study looking closely at 15 shipyard fires over the last 12 years. That's like one a year. It's like one a year. 15 shipyard fires. It found recurring trends, including failure to comply with fire prevention, detection, and response policies. As a result, Navy leaders were expanding the staffing and responsibility of the Navy Safety Center to perform audits, unannounced assessment of Navy units. Boy, got 3 minutes to go, and we're having issues with the stream. Let me see. We're reinitializing. I'm sorry for that. That took a little minute. All right, we don't have a lot of time. It's let's close this. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds before the broadcast ends. I think we should just end it a couple of minutes early. Do we want to do that, or do we want to wait it out? Because I mean, that's like the fifth time the whole thing just kind of went to poo on us. There wasn't a lot. Well, let's put this here. There wasn't a lot. Um, I mean, some stuff was ridiculous. The idea that Steve Bannon, they're going to put him in jail because he won't talk to them, I think is funny. Um, yeah, I think former flight attendant strips off uniform in protest. Okay. Why do women always think protest means getting naked? I've been to a lot of protests. Women are walking around topless at the protests. I'm like, what do you being naked have to do with anything? I'm protesting. Okay. I think I need some lady to explain to me what I don't want to look it up now because this whole thing is getting wonky. Why do why do women get naked at protests? Nudity and protests. Nudity is sometimes used as a tactic during a protest to attract media and public attention to a cause, and sometimes promotion of public nudity in itself the object of a nude protest. And sometimes promotion of public nudity is itself the object of a nude protest. Single issue protests, anti-fur, Brexit, land rights, peace and anti-war, the African curse of nakedness. What? I don't know if I can actually show you guys this because there are nude people, but it's on Wikipedia. So I don't think I can actually show it to you. Brexit, land rights. Women in the Amuru district of Uganda protest about their loss of land and farming. Peace and anti-war groups use nudity to protest the Iraq war. Groups use their bodies to form words and symbols to convey their message. Yeah, no, that's not people getting naked and laying in the grass doing. I'm talking about at like a riot at the George Floyd thing. There were people like taking off their top, like facing off against the cops, like topless. I just don't. I look. All right. Oh, yeah, there's a ton of naked people. All right, we'll look that up later. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and timing is everything. Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls, pens and pencils. That is it for us. We are going to put this one to bed. Remember, we are here every day when my uh my connection works, right? I'm here every day as long as my connection works and as long as, the cops don't fucking arrest me or something, right? As long as the government does not demand my attention somewhere else, um, or family demand my attention somewhere else, I'll be here. So every day, 6:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, come get some. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. It's super important that you like and subscribe. Um, yeah, crazy, crazy day, crazy day. It's Thursday night. Tomorrow's your Friday. Don't get too excited. You got to get through the morning and the afternoon first. But then by 4, I give you full permission to sneak out. Okay, Broncos at Browns, 8:20 Fox. TV Braves at the Dodgers. Broncos at Browns, Fox, 8:20. Braves at TBS. Oh, I see what you did. TVS. I see. I got you. Well, let's go watch some freaking baseball. All right, boys and girls. This thing's about to shut down again. I won't even keep you. I got love for you. I will see you in the next one. Next one is tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. We will be here. Sorry for the incidents with the connection. It is what it is, and that's what it is. And that's all that it is. That's all I can say. I will see you in the next one. And we just said a couple of seconds ago, next one's tomorrow. Like and subscribe and come on through. Thank you for coming through, William. So it was just a pleasure talking to you. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. And everyone else, like I said, see you in the next one. Peace.